The 2027 Rugby World Cup cities that are hosting games have been announced. Let's quickly watch this video and you can kind of see the cities, and we'll run through each city by city with the stadiums that they'll be playing in as well, step by step, and also telling you how the public transport is. Seeing as I live in Australia, I can tell you the public transport. I can tell you kind of the average hotel costs and maybe what to go and see in those cities. So let's get into it.
The pressure, Carl, on these men. It's such a young team.
What a joy to be watching him. A lovely little change of pace on the width there.
Boy, could not believe his luck, but the lovely scoop offload.
He impresses everybody every day.
Hey, Rebel hard, look at the big man.
2 tries, his first 2.
Real twisting effort, brutal defence coming his way. He's done really well. Little dummy, pull boarded, hook, line and sinker. Through he went.
Back-to-back Rugby World Cup champions. There it is, the weatherless cup.
So there it is. There's the host cities. As you can see on the map here, you can see there's Townsville there at the top. Then you got down here in Brisbane. Then underneath it, you got Newcastle. You got Sydney. You got Melbourne down here. You got Adelaide. And then all the way out here, you got Perth. And I mean, that is like a, 4-hour flight, 3-hour flight sort of thing. So if you are going out to Perth, be prepared with the planning. The dates are 1st of October through to the 13th of November. The reason why it's a little bit longer is, I guess it's about the same length, actually, it's wrong, because there's 3 pool games, then there's round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. Super excited. So we'll run through kind of which cities have which games as well, which we'll quickly run through now. And if you do like these sorts of videos, if you want to keep up with leading up to the British and Irish Lions, leading up to, the Rugby World Cup, then hit that subscribe button right below. Like the videos that you do like. If you disagree, that's fair enough as well. You can throw it. Do it in a kind manner so you don't try and just get into arguments. Say what you want to say and bring a constructive criticism so we can all learn from it and talk about the game we all love, the game that we all believed was made in heaven, that is rugby. So let's get into this one here. So the first city, let me move my ugly mug out of the way here. So the first city is Townsville, North Queensland, which we'll run through because it is probably one of the smaller cities in here. You got 4 pool matches being played here. The population's around 200,000 people. You can see kind of pictures here of the city below. I used to live in Townsville myself. There is no international airport anymore. The October weather is hot, okay? In Townsville, you have 2 sorts of weather when I lived there. It's hot and it's bloody hot. So you only got 2. You can see in October, which is kind of leading into our winter. So this is probably, or do I have that? No, I got that wrong. So that's our spring, sorry. And as you can see, it's 30 degrees Celsius during the days and 21 degrees at nighttime. So it's warm, it's clammy, and it's very humid. And it won't be too much rain in October there. You can also see most hotels are around $120 to $200 per night. So it's quite affordable, but whenever there are events in the town, because it's not a big city, you can see in the pictures down here, kind of that's the city there. It's a very small city center. There's only about, 6 main pubs on the main strip sort of thing. So it's not a lot. So, be prepared for that. But it is a great place. Most people are very friendly. Some locals can be quite rude to tourists. But in general, if you're a kind person, they'll be very kind to you as well. So it's a good place to travel. Obviously, the local rep team is the Reds, as they're part of North Queensland. Must see over there while you're over there, Magnetic Island, which is just off the coast. So just a little ferry ride over. I think it costs about $30 a return there and back. And do watch out if you think you're going to go for a swim. There is only one place you can swim because there are crocodiles, there's jellyfish, there's sharks. And yeah, if you're going to go for a nature walk or something, there's snakes and everything as well. So it is very, watch out for those sorts of things, okay? And we move on to the stadium. So we've got Queensland Bank Stadium. It's a capacity of 25,000. It's right in the city centre and it's hosting the 4 games. So you can see the stadium's right here. I've been there a lot, and you can just walk over this bridge right here. It takes you to the main road over here, and then you turn right, and it's, then it leads into the main strip. So it's a 5-minute walk. You're right in the city center. You don't need for public transport, because the public transport in Townsville is horrible. Let me tell you right now, it's not good. The only ones they have on game days is buses, and the buses aren't very good. If you are there for a few days, get a hotel in the city center. You can walk to everything you need, because it is a spread out city, but most of the things you need and can survive with is right in the middle of the city center. And there's obviously a bit of nature and stuff too. You can go see crocodiles in the wild, in a sanctuary. You can go see kangaroos, you can see koalas, all that type of stuff. Now we move on to the second city, which is Newcastle, which unfortunately one of the pictures isn't showing, which is not good. But you can see here, it's a lovely, beautiful looking city. About 175,000 people. 4 pool games are being played here as well. Same thing, the weather is about 22 degrees during the day and 15 degrees at nighttime. So nice and good weather, in my opinion. Most of the hotels and stuff is about the same as Townsville, 150 to about 250 on average. So there are better ones, but there's also more affordable ones, but just looking in the average. Also, same thing as in Townsville, motels are a little bit cheaper. You can find quite a few around. Do book ahead of time, I would say, for everything, because everything does book out a lot, because a lot of workplaces actually book out motels and things like that for workers. Public transport, very average as well. Some buses and some light train lines as well. Must see, you can go do sandboarding, things like that. Beautiful beaches, definitely go see that. Apparently, when you do a bit of research, and what my friends, and same with me as well, is accommodations limited. So like I said, book early. And their team that represents their state is the New South Wales Waratahs as well. You can see here, Newcastle's right there, and only just a bit south is Sydney, pretty much just down the line. The local stadium is McDonald Jones Stadium. You can see on the maps here, so McDonald Jones Stadium's right there, and the city is pretty much here. So it is a little bit of a public transport or an Uber or something like that, or a taxi, and you're there. Taxis in Australia is very expensive too if you aren't from here, so be prepared. 30,000 capacity. You can see the stadium here at the bottom left. Hosting 4 pool matches. So there is a grass area as well. Maybe they'll upgrade it, not too sure. But so if you do have kids and everything, they can play around on the hill as well. On to the next one. We've got Adelaide, South Australia, which is hosting 5 pool matches. And this is a place you'd want to go, just in my opinion. Living in Australia, Adelaide is somewhere we'd want to go. It's got a population of around 1.5 mil. It does have an international airport, but limited. It's 22 degrees during the day and 12 degrees at night, so it gets nice and cool. Hotels are around 130 to 250, so most are pretty similar. Obviously, during the peak times, it costs a bit more. Public transport, yet again, just average. Buses, tram lines, and a train line. So nothing, if you're comparing it to, let's say, London, you're comparing it to Japan and stuff, it's very average in options wise. A must see while you're there. Go do wine tours, take days, even come early, whatever. The wineries here are amazing. Down there in South Australia, you got Barossa Valley, which is some of the best Shirazes in the world. You got McLaren Vale, which do really, really good reds as well. It's like a Grenache, things like that. You got the Clare Valley. You got everything, and they do white wines to red wines. So definitely, and it's all pretty close. It's only, within, 40-minute drive sort of thing. So get out and about, go and see these wines, try some of Australia's best wines, and you won't regret it. Yet again, book those ahead of time if you want to go on a tour, because they'll book out quick. Or if you do plan it yourself, then contact the wineries and they'll be able to sort you out. And the only thing to watch out for is obviously drinking too much wine and being trapped somewhere. Now let's go. And it's beautiful scenery. You can see nice beach, things like that. It's a beautiful, kind of not overly busy city. You can see the stadium is Adelaide Oval, 53,500 capacity, predominantly for cricket and AFL, which is Aussie rules. It's hosting 5 pool matches, and it is close, like right near the city centre. So, it's easy to pretty much walk back to your hotel, that sort of thing. You can see on the maps right there, the city centre is right below it. The airport is just right there. So a very well planned out city, to be honest. And it looks like a fairly nice stadium. I haven't been there yet. So I'm hoping maybe for the World Cup, I might go down there. Now on to the next city. We got Melbourne, Victoria, which was dropped from hosting any major finals. So no quarterfinals, no semifinals, no final. They get 7 pool matches and they get 2 round of 16 matches. The population is around 5.2 million. So it's, was catching up to Sydney, but it's kind of slowed up. They do have an international airport. The October weather is about 20 degrees Celsius during the day and 11 degrees at night. Most hotels range from $130 to $300. Like I said, if you hunt around, you can get it cheaper, but during peak times in the city centre, you're going to pay a lot of money. So you're looking at probably $200 to $300 Australian per night. Public transport, good public transport. They got trains, buses, and tram lines. Must see while you're there is the Melbourne Sky Deck. Just an overview of the city. There's a lot of other things to do. If you are a wine connoisseur as well, they do have wine regions right there. So like the Yarra Valley, Geelong, they got Mornington Peninsula right near the city. There's wine regions right there. So literally just catch a little train, you're right there, go do a tour and then go back again. And apparently there's a little bit of minor pickpocketing, which is not common in Australia. I know Melbourne has gotten a little bit worse with this sort of stuff. So just keep an eye out. It's nothing near, some European cities, stuff like that. So it's nothing crazy, but just to be safe, keep it in your pocket. Then you got the Melbourne Cricket Ground, which has a capacity of 100,000, hosting 7 pool matches and 2 round of 16 matches. They do have another stadium, the Marvel Stadium, which is an indoor one, which might host a game as well. Never know. But as you can see, so 2 round of 16 matches and 7 pool games. The MCG, Melbourne Cricket Ground's right in the middle. It's made for cricket. They do host rugby games, but if you're on the sides where you're far away from the field, it kind of can ruin the immersion. So it's not a great place to go and watch rugby. But if it's sold out, this 100,000 people there, the stadium, the sound, it's definitely worth going to a game if you're going to be in Melbourne. It'll be crazy, the atmosphere, and it'll probably have a couple of big games like big nations playing because obviously just the pure size of that stadium. Now we move on to the next one. We got Perth, Western Australia, which is hosting 5 pool matches, 2 round of 16s, and it includes the opening match, which will be Australia versus whoever it might be. The population is around 2.5 million. It does have an international airport, 23 degrees during the day and 13 degrees at night. It is a drier heat, so not crazy amount of humidity. Most hotels are about 140 to 230. You're looking at a very good, it's a fairly new city, so it's pretty good public transport, trains, buses, and ferries. Must see, yet again, the Margaret River wine region, beautiful, not too far away. Whale watching, the beaches, you can see a picture here in the middle. Absolutely beautiful beaches. There are some great white sharks, so just watch out. But it is also the only thing to watch out if you're traveling. It is the most isolated city. I mean, it's like a 3-hour flight to maybe the next rugby hosting city. So be prepared. And the time difference, it's usually about 2 hours behind the rest of Australia. Now we go to the stadium, which is Optus Stadium, 60,000 capacity. You can see here, it's right on the water pretty much, close to most things in the city. So it's a great spot for the stadium, right on the water. Like I said, you can see on that picture. It's hosting 5 pool matches and 2 round of 16s and very close to the city, so it's easy to go in and out. Then we move to Brisbane, Queensland. You can see 6 pool matches, 2 round of 16s, and also 2 quarterfinals, which I'm super excited about. The population is around 3 million people. It does have an international airport. During the day, it's 26 degrees Celsius and 17 degrees at nighttime, and this is during October, by the way. The public transport is average at best. For the amount of people, it's very average. There's some water ferries that take you across the river. The trains are very average. The lines, there's not a lot of train lines, but they are busy upgrading it right now because we got the Rugby League World Cup, we got the Rugby World Cup, and then we also have obviously the Women's World Cup, and then we also have the I think it's 2030 or something like that. We got the Olympics as well here in Brisbane. So definitely worth a watch. Hopefully the public transport by then is much better. Must see, obviously the city has great food, really, really good food right on the river, some beautiful spots, great bars right on the river as well, if that's what you're after. Otherwise, if you do enjoy a bit more nature, go down to Gold Coast, go to the beaches. If you surf or want to learn to surf, go there. There's always good waves, and there's a lot of people that do classes. So if you do want to learn, or if you want to just go for a surf. Also, it's very gridlocked city, so do give extra 10, 20, 30 minutes on your trip if you are Ubering or whatever, just to get there on time. And the stadium is Suncorp Stadium. It's right by the city center. It's only like a 5-10 minute walk, and you're in the city. 60,000. Oh, sorry, that's wrong. It's probably only 50,000 capacity. 52,000 capacity. Just a bit of a typo. It's hosting 5 pool matches, 2 round of 16s. Oh my gosh. Another typo. And 2 quarterfinals, not the opening match, but 2 quarterfinals. So excuse the typo there. But you can see here's the stadium. I just went to watch the Springboks Wallabies there actually last year. Great atmosphere. You feel like you're right on the field too. So it's a proper rugby stadium. You feel like you're right on the field. And, I was sitting probably on the second tier up there, and you didn't feel far away from the field at all. So very good stadium to go watch. I've watched also out of the boxes up here before, and very close to the stadium. So very good one to go watch rugby in. Now, the last city is Sydney in New South Wales, which is going to host 5 pool matches, 2 round of 16s, 2 quarterfinals, both the semi-finals, the bronze final as well, and the World Cup final. So it's hosting a lot. All right. And that's where Sydney do have a few different stadiums they can play at. Obviously, a population of 5.2 million, has a great international airport. Daytime, it's 22 degrees. Nighttime, 14 degrees. Hotels range from 150 to 350. But there is good public transport, a lot of trains, trams, and buses. So you can get around the city pretty easily. You just got to go get a Go card, which you can grab online or just kind of at the station. And you can top it up with your credit card sort of thing. So it's easy to get around. You can just tap it when you get on, tap it when you get off. Also with it as well, they got beautiful beaches not too far away. It's just overly busy is the only thing. You can see the city, beautiful city. You got obviously to go see the Sydney Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, bars not too far away. Pretty much good little spots. The lockouts as well, if you are, a drinker, if you do enjoy a drink, then the lockouts you got to watch out for, because after like 12 o'clock, there's lockouts in some places. You can't get back into the bars. So pretty much if you're at that bar at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, then you probably don't want to leave, because you might miss out on getting back in. And the drinking laws are quite strict down there as well. So do just watch out as well. There's a lot of troublemakers down there in the main area down there. A lot of fights, things like that. So just be wary when you are down there. Now we go into the stadiums. So you got the Accor Stadium, which is kind of far away from the city centre. It's, a bit of a hike, but you got the public transport to get there if you don't stay close to it. There's a lot of options. It's an 83,000 seater capacity, 5 pool matches, 2 round of 16s. Like I said, this is where the World Cup final will be. It's probably where the semi-final, probably both would be. And it kind of makes sense why they are hosting both semi-finals, because if you host it in Brisbane, for example, that's still, it's kind of like a 2-3 hour flight. So you don't want to have to make one team travel and the other one gets to just stay in the city. So it's not very fair. So it kind of makes sense why they do both semi-finals there. Oh my gosh, another typo. I left the 2 round of 16s and opening match on there again. So excuse that, sorry. It is a bit out the city, like I said. Beautiful looking stadium though. Massive, big ground. You got the cricket ground not too far away as well. But yeah, just a bit out of the city centre if you're going to stay in the city centre. But, it's very close to Parramatta, which is right there, Bankstown down there. So those are pretty much their own cities as well. So if you do stay in Parramatta, etc., you're not too far away from it either. Then you got the Sydney Football Stadium, which is the Lions Stadium known as. It's 45,000 seater capacity, just recently kind of renovated. You can see it's very nice looking stadium, new seats, all that type of stuff. Looks beautiful from the top, and it is right in the city centre. You can see there's a Lions Stadium here, and right underneath the city centre, Sydney Harbour Bridge is right there as well. So very close to everything. So I'm thinking they will probably host a couple of games, even if it's just pool matches and around a 16 or whatever it might be. But it's good. I definitely think 2 stadiums will host some games in Sydney. And then you can see kind of here just a map that I want to show you again. So you've got Townsville all the way up here, which is about a hour and 45-minute flight to Brisbane. And then Brisbane, I believe, to, where is it? So Newcastle is right about just above Sydney. And I think that's about an hour and a bit flight as well. And you got Sydney right there. Canberra doesn't actually host the game, which is kind of sad because it is probably a Australian rugby stronghold, but the stadium just sucks. So there's a reason why they're not hosting it. And you got Melbourne right at the bottom. Then you got Adelaide just here. And you got Perth all the way out there. So, like I said, if you're going to Perth, just plan for the flight times and all that type of stuff because you are far away. But there it is. The breakdown for the next Rugby World Cup. Let me know if you are going to be making it. I'll be trying to go to, all the Brisbane games I can, maybe a Townsville game or 2. Definitely do a road trip down to Sydney or Newcastle to go watch a game there. And the dream scenario would be to go to Adelaide as well, to go watch a game or 2. But that's all being, right? And like I said, at the World Cup, at the British and Irish Lions, all that type of stuff, I'm going to try be on the ground, talking to the fans, with a mic and all that, just so you can get a feel for what it's like on the ground in Australia for these big events. But thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see future videos. Like the video if you liked it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.